Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, round 18 of the Moto 3 career mode, and it's right here in Phillip Island. So starting in pole position is Grant with John McPhee and Pedro Acosta on the front row, Masia, Binder and Suzuki in the second, Mino, Alcoba, Rodrigo, Toba, Artigas, Garcia, Guevara, Foggia, Fenati, Antonelli, Yamanaka on Chu, Sasaki, Koffler, Fellon, Dupasquier, Fernandez, Nepa, Salach, Tatai, Farad, Izdihar, Rossi and Yuki Kuni at the back of this Australian Grand Prix. So we look to the lights and we will go the second they disappear, and away we go! Utilising power setting 1, because of course in this career mode we only use power setting 1 to make things interesting, and we're going to be doing that here today. So Suzuki, Binder, Masia, Costa, McPhee all got through. Even the Comelin Grassini boys get through, as Andrea Mino, he thinks about having a dive up the inside, and you better believe he made it stick, as Xavi Artigas is also now ahead as we dive up on the inside of the Spaniard. Not quite, the Spaniard was very, very brave going around the outside of Grant there and holding his position, with Romano Fenati to his right as well. First track limits of the warning already in just the first lap. Big mistake from Grant. Of course, we are rocking that Wayne Gardner / DrAce helmet, which is pretty fine and dandy. Hoping that it gives me some good luck here today, because I think it's going to be rather difficult to maintain a good battle and to try and stay at the front of this pack. I'm not expecting any miracles here today, because those long straights absolutely kill me. But we'll do what we can. We have to try and just finish ahead of Darren Binder. Of course, the championship is now closer than ever has been before, probably since the start of the season. I don't think it has been this close. Andrea Mino and Grant going toe-to-toe. Grant tries to go around the outside to then flick it up on the inside, going up into the Lukey Heights. Now onto the left-hand side for turn 9. One of my most favourite combinations of track. I mentioned Casanova and Savelli for Mugello quite a lot, but right here, going into the right-hander of turn 10, here in Phillip Island is probably just as well, or maybe up there, or possibly better than Mugello. I'm not sure. Probably not, as we give Xavi Artigas a bit of a rub. Rubbing is racing, as of course I say many, many times. We now have Kaita Toba as well, coming up on the inside of the Japanese rider. We're going to get alongside him. We are ahead of him. Thankfully, he didn't touch my rear tyre and kick me off the motorcycle. So one lap has been completed, a tactical breather just for me there, so I'm trying to continue to chat about the action unfold, because you know what it's like in Moto 3. It's very difficult to catch your breath. Everything and anything is occurring at any point as we now dive over the inside. Could we get over the inside of Suzuki as well? We went on the inside of Kaita Toba, now Binder as well. Look at us getting over the inside of Suzuki! Goodness me, what a move from Grant into the southern loop. He has now taken, I don't even know how many that was, my maths is not great. I think it was about 5 or 6 riders in just one corner. Going into turn 4 of Honda, could we do the business here? Going the inside of Pedro Acosta, sliding the rear, Acosta's down! Pedro Acosta's down, and John McPhee went down as well! You could definitely look to say Grant caused that carnage, but I'm not too sure on that one. That was a good move from Grant. I know he went practically sideways going up the inside of the Red Bull KTM IO rider, but it wasn't my fault. I don't believe that Pedro Acosta just did not yield and did not allow me to get through. We thwarted his progression, but at the same time, we were never, ever going to relinquish that spot. We need to be in the front. We need to be getting to the front and leading this Grand Prix. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think Grant should be penalised for that one. Personally, I don't think so. It was just a racing incident. I went up on the inside, and John McPhee and Pedro Acosta collided on the outside. Suzuki goes around the outside of Grant up into turn 11, after Grant making a big mistake into turn 10. Not ideal, but we now have the Japanese rider in our sights with, oh my goodness, Masia forces Grant wide, lifts him up to say, watch out for my teammate, mate. Try that again, sunshine, and you'll feel my wrath. Now into the slipstream of both Masia and Suzuki. Look at Binder on the right-hand side of the screen there. Ethan Guevara, the fastest man on track right now. He's in 7th place. He's moving up the order pretty well. As we go on the right-hand side for turn 1 for the Doohan corner. We're going to go for a wider line and then potentially chuck it up on the inside going into the southern loop. If we can make this stick like we did early on, that would be fine and dandy, but not quite. We did get ahead of Darren Binder and Tatsuki Suzuki as we try and get closer and closer to Jama Masia. Get up on the rear of him, really put the pressure on, and possibly another lunge into turn 4. Stoner corner. Oh, Grant had to lift it up from Gabriel Rodrigo. Now, every time I'm around Gabriel Rodrigo, someone crashes. I really hope that isn't going to be the case here today, because, of course, if you didn't see Thailand last time out, I'm about to spoil it, so be warned. Carnage ensued due to a collision between Grant and Rodrigo as Grant gets picked up again from Rodrigo. I'm telling you, Rodrigo's one of the most aggressive riders as Grant gives him a big don't argue there. as he slings into him as well, really saying to him, look pal, I've got the championship to battle with, you haven't, so leave me be. And Darren Binder watched all that unfold and took advantage. The South African's not getting involved with any games, he's just trying to get through, trying to pick up as many championship points as possible, as we now go over the inside. Goodness me, gesticulation from Grant. He's miffed that Gabriel Rodrigo slammed the door shut in his face, or at least just pulled on the anchors and forced a collision into turn 10. Thankfully both riders are still alright and still on board their respectable motorcycles, but goodness me, that is not how you want to be tackling turn 10. We're onto the rear of Tatsuki Suzuki now, getting great drive coming on to turn 12. DrAce up into 4th position. Binder, Rodrigo, Masia and Grant behind. You know that's a fight that Grant wants to get his elbows out again. He is not pleased with Gabriel Rodrigo, and of course there's a lot of pride, a lot at stake right now between Darren Binder and Grant. And Jama Masia, of course, he wants to get himself back up into the, well, decent championship positions, because so far this season it's been very topsy-turvy for the Red Bull KTM IO Spaniard. Now onto the left-hand side for the southern loop. We could get a bit of drive here to then line Gabriel Rodrigo up into turn 4. But of course, going for the sort of wider line, we do lose the slipstream. Therefore, we're not going to be able to get as close as we would have wanted. But on the brakes, you know we're strong. We could potentially go around the outside if we had enough gumption and gall. But we give Rodrigo a little bit of a love tap there, a little bit of a kiss, just to get him upside. And goodness me, Darren Binder stopped for a second there. I think he might have missed a gear. Now, that really hindered Binder's performance, but it's also hindered Grant's, as he's lost a position out to Gabriel Rodrigo. And be warned of Tatsuki Suzuki up on the left-hand side of the screen. There he is. He's just appeared now. I knew he was coming sooner or later. He fancies a podium. He's been off the podium this season quite a lot, and I think he's about time to change that and make amends for the early on in the season. Of course, he did pinch pole position off me in my home track of Silverstone, which I have not forgotten about, but don't worry, I'm not going to get too aggressive with you, Sunbeam, but I will dive up on the inside of turn 10 if it comes down to it. As Suzuki now dives up on the inside of the Argentine, you better believe we're going to take advantage of that little bit of a mistake of them both going wide, now going into turn 12 with a very eager Darren Binder. Now we have to focus on Darren Binder. To be honest with you, the rest of the race doesn't even matter. We just have to beat Darren Binder. Get a little bit of contact there made between them. Grant sort of swung in to try and get behind Binder and just touched his rear wheel there. Thankfully, both men are still on board the motorcycles and there's nothing to be too concerned about. We're going into turn 1 for the Doohan corner. Suzuki's there as well. Watch out, he might end up picking me up in the corner here. I don't fancy him being around me and going for some would-be lunges as we go into the southern loop in third place as Darren Binder is in second place. We want second place and we're eager for it, but we just can't quite get ahead of Darren Binder just yet. Suzuki's still around there, or in fact, it's Gabriel Rodrigo's now into 4th position. We have a podium still beckoning, but finishing behind Darren Binder in this position right now would make Darren Binder the World Championship leader. Now, I do believe we have not relinquished the championship lead at any point this season. We have been super close, but we haven't actually delivered the red plate to another rider, and we won't be doing that here today. I'm determined to make sure that Darren Binder stays put, or at least stays behind me. We need to be getting up into the top positions. First, second and third, brilliant, but we have to beat Darren Binder as well. If Binder crashes and I crash, that's not too bad, but if we don't get ahead of Darren Binder, that's when the big worry is going to occur. But we dive up on the inside of turn 10. Please don't get too close to me, touch my rear tyre. Oh, he wasn't even close enough. What a perfectly executed move going into turn 10. Put that in the DrAce archive. Going into turn 11, following Jama Masia quite closely now. Still got plenty of laps yet. We are not even half distance, so we can get under the rear of the Red Bull KTM and go full systems go. Take a quick glance at the pit board on your left-hand side if you want to see any information that's really necessary. But for us right now, we just need to focus on one thing, and that is chasing down Jama Masia. And in fact, never mind about that, we need to defend against Darren Binder, of course. As Binder now goes up into second place. Brilliant move from the South African, forcing Grant a little bit wide. You only have to pick up the motorcycle just a bit, but that's enough to slow Grant down. Husqvarna versus Honda once again. We've seen that so much this season. I mean, there's 3 manufacturers right now covering the 3 podium positions. Awesome stuff to see. It really is. KTM, Honda and Husqvarna. Of course, the Husqvarna is not really that different from the KTM. It's just basically got a different chassis, which is, of course, the Husqvarna. As we now break into turn 4. A little bit out of shape, a little bit onto the rumble strip, but it's quite okay because Darren Binder went it a little bit wide. We dive up on the inside, but I also tried to go sort of a longer, wider line to then pick up the acceleration, which didn't actually work as we did lose the position again. We're going into Siberia. We have used all of the left-hand side of both the front and rear tyres, and that is quite concerning because there's still quite a lot of left-hand corners here in Phillip Island, and the left-hand corners are usually quite important, especially going into the Southern Loop and to Siberia, and even here into the Lukey Heights. It's a very difficult corner and easy to lose the front if you're not careful, and maybe getting a bit twitchy on the front brake. We're now going to turn 10, leaning on Darren Binder there. Don't think we're quite able to go around the outside, but we might be able to line him up into turn 11 here. But Darren Binder's still very, very strong as we hold him to the right-hand side there. Left elbow leaning on Husqvarna for Darren Binder. That was pretty impressive. As we now go into the left-hand side for turn 12, getting on the rumble strip there. Goodness me. Somehow we managed to stay on board the bike, but we did inherit a track limit warning, so we'll have to be careful from this point onwards. We need to behave with the track limit warnings. I really don't want a long lap penalty. It's been a while since we were issued a long lap penalty, but you never know. As Gabriel Rodrigo goes around the inside, Darren Binder goes around the outside. As Grant now fights back to go around the outside of them both. Oh, goodness. Oh, Suzuki's there as well. This is not looking as good as I thought. We need to stop messing around with Darren Binder and trying to chase down Gemma Masia and just focus on getting away from these guys, because Gabriel Rodrigo almost has his arm cut off there as the Husqvarna dives up on the inside. The Suzuki now onto the left-hand side. He'll be going into the Stoner corner in third place, but will he hold on to that third position when Grant goes on the brakes for turn 4? I don't think he will. Right foot out with that Dainese boot touching the floor up on the inside of Suzuki. Beautifully done for the man from Britain, the 26-year-old from Warrington. You know the score, going onto the left-hand side for turn 6 now as Suzuki getting closer and closer. Little bit of a touch there onto the rear tyre of the Husqvarna, but both men are still going. There's not really hindered anyone's performance there as Suzuki goes up on the inside as Grant just had to pull the knee in. Little move on the analog stick can bring your knee in just like that. As we now go into left-hand side corner once again. Be careful on the front. Be careful on the left-hand side. We need to be very, very careful. Can we line Suzuki up here? Because we do have quite a lot of stability on the right-hand side of the tyre. It's not too bad. As we dive up on the inside into turn 10. Don't touch the rear tyre. Oh! No, Suzuki's going a bit more of a shoving action here. Suzuki really wants his podium. I think he can see Binder and Masia getting ahead. And you know what I'm big concerned about now? Binder is now roughly ahead of Masia. Oh, and another track limit warning. Oh, goodness me, Grant needs to behave. I'm feeling the pressure, I'm not going to lie. It's getting to me a little bit as Gabriel Rodrigo goes right on the inside. Pedro Acosta? Didn't he crash earlier on? What is he doing up into third place? Goodness me, that is ridiculous. As Suzuki, Rodrigo and Acosta all really bloodied Grant's nose there, and they all went up on the inside. Now Kaito Toba's there to get a few jabs in, a few digs in, but we don't fancy that right now. Leave me alone, Toba. I don't want your assistance right now. We're going to go around the outside of Gabriel Rodrigo, and on the nature of this corner will put us right behind Pedro Acosta, to then potentially go around the outside of Suzuki. Beautifully done if we can make it stick. Can we go up the inside into turn 4? Oh, it's a late move! That is a late lunge if I ever did see one. We've run it a little bit hot, but similar position to what Darren Binder just took as he temporarily took over the top spot. Pedro Acosta and Grant going toe-to-toe now in third place. The young Spaniard obviously not very happy with Grant and causing that collision earlier on, but he has fought back absolutely phenomenally. He has taken the fastest lap with the 1:38.958, which I don't think anyone's going to get even close to. Our fastest lap is a 1:39.3. I don't think we're going to get into the 1:38s. Not at this stage with the tyres looking as bleak as they are. But something I have neglected to mention is that Darren Binder is now leading this Grand Prix as Grant gets a bit squirrely on the brakes there for turn 10. Squirmish, if you will. But still, that actually worked out very well. We're 0.4 of a second quicker on this lap than we were previously, or at least earlier on, before all the carnage happened and all the chaotic overtakes as Gemma Masia puts that KTM up at the inside of the Honda with absolute pizzazz. Brilliant stuff in there from Masia. Absolutely awesome as Darren Binder's going to get alongside him. We're getting a bit of slipstream here as we go across the line. It's a 1:39.198 for us, so that is a good improvement from the previous lap and the couple of laps prior to this one. As we now go onto the right-hand side for Dewan Corner, Binder looks like he's temporarily in the lead. He certainly is. We don't want that to happen, so we need to fight back. At this stage of the race, right now as things stand, Darren Binder would be your World Championship leader in round 18 of 20. This is how important this is. It's vital that we come back and fight these guys. I honestly don't think it's going to happen, and what are we going to risk? Are we really going to risk a third place? We're only going to be losing 9 points as we go in very, very hot for turn 4. Really hot now, goodness me. Thank goodness we didn't get a track limit warning, but that was way, way too late. I'm a bit concerned now. The tyre life is not working well for Grant. The Husqvarna seems to be going backwards. We did just set the fastest lap of the race for ourselves, our own personal best, but it's not going to be enough to compete with Pedro Acosta. And even Suzuki and Rodrigo, they're going to be right behind. Shout out to Ethan Guevara finishing in 7th place currently as it stands, but who knows what's going to happen with Jama Masia and Darren Binder. Are they going to go absolutely mental at the front and just start bumping into each other and fighting? Or are we going to chase them down and give them a bit of the old Grant magic? We know how good we are in the latter stage of the Grand Prix. It's very rare we've lost in last lap encounter. Of course, the only one coming in, Motegi, where Darren Binder managed to get the best of us going into the victory corner. But now into turn 12. This is going to be 3 more laps remaining, ladies and gentlemen, so there's not much left in it. If we're going to make something happen, we need to make it now. I've always said that if you get the lead over to a second, that's when things start to get difficult. You break the resolve of your opponents, and 1 second becomes 100 seconds. It's that difficult to break the 1 second barrier. But we are going to give it one more attempt on this lap. If we can't get anywhere near them, if we can't take a couple of tenths away, then I'm probably going to have to just sit and accept 3rd place, which is not bad, considering it's the World Championship. It's big, and we would be down by 6 points to Darren Binder if that were to occur. We don't want that to occur, and we're going to give it 100% here. 120%, just like the AI difficulty, of course, going into turn 4. A nice tight line there for Grant. Very, very tight apex on the right-hand side of the tyre. They seem to be working okay. It's just the left-hand side going into Siberia I'm a bit worried about. Or very worried about, let's say. As we now go into the rumble strip underneath the signage. Now onto the left-hand side very, very briefly, and then we flick it to the right. Get close to the apex here and keep a nice tight apex. Pedro Acosta is half a second back to us, so I don't think he's going to see anything else of the Red Bull KTM, the 17-year-old. We're going to get closer and closer to the guys ahead, hopefully, as we break into the turn 10. Little bit out of shape going into that corner there, but I tell you what, we have closed in by 0.3 of a second. I don't know whether we can maintain this pace because I'm giving it 120%. We're going absolutely everything we've got here, everything underneath that the chassis and the Husqvarna itself. And we're going to absolutely go for it into turn 12. Penultimate lap is beckoning. Jama Masia, Darren Binder and Grant. Who's going to be the one to stand on the top step of the podium at this one? This is going to be one heck of a fight between the South African and the Spaniard. If Grant can conjure something up, he's going to have to conjure up something pretty soon. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-man battle for the victory. But I'm still going to be pleased with 3rd place. I mean, I'll accept that now, to be honest with you. But I'm going to go for it once more. If we don't get within half a second at the end of this lap, then I guess it's going to be curtains. We can't force it. We really, really can't afford to make a mistake here. Mistakes have occurred before. We've seen it happen. I don't want that to be happening here today. Not in this magnificent circuit, and not when it's close to completion. But goodness me, into turn 4. What a beautiful entry for Grant there. 0.2 of a second quicker than the previous lap going into that corner. Now into Siberia for turn 6. The gap is half a second to Darren Binder. 0.7 of a second to Jama Masia. He's not really the concern right now. My main focus is to beat Darren Binder. Going onto the right-hand side for turn 8, we could be getting closer and closer, especially going into turn 10. You've seen how good we are on the brakes. All it takes is that bit of extra gumption and a bit of bravery going into turn 10, and we could be right on the rear of both men. Going into the right-hand side for turn 10, that's a beautiful tight apex once again. Under pressure, Grant is thriving. Usually I struggle, especially on Monster Energy Supercross, but right now I need to focus on the task in hand. Get in behind Darren Binder, get in behind Masia, get the double slipstream, and this could be under 0.3 of a second going across the line. Binder is in the lead temporarily on this penultimate lap as we get into the rear. Oh my goodness, could this be an absolute dream victory for us? Brilliant lap, we're into the 138s on the penultimate lap. Going on the right-hand side now for turn 1. Doing corner. Grant's getting closer and closer. Could we get the cutback? Going to be the inside of both of them. Oh, it's going to be close going into Southern Loop. Brilliant performance of Grant to fight back. He's in the lead. He's done it. Up in the lead. Jama Masia, Darren Binder are going to be absolutely dumbfounded and trying to figure out where the hell Grant conjured up this speed, but Jama Masia fights back. He's not giving this up without a fight. He has come alive towards the end of this season. Great job for Jama Masia, but he's ran it a little bit wide, and Grant will take advantage. Something's happened to Darren Binder. He's half a second behind. This is brilliant. But can we... Oh, at this point, we're not thinking about the championship. Go all out. Just go for it. I don't care what happens in the championship. We want the win. We want the ultimate prize. We want the succulent 25 points dish. As we go on the right-hand side for turn 8, we are up by 1/10 of a second. You know, if we're going into the lead into turn 10, then I'm going to call it. I think it's going to be a victory. On the left-hand side for Lukey Heights, braking in a moment's time, dropping the anchor. It's scratching across the floor for turn 10. We're up by a half a second. Going underneath the signage on the left-hand side for turn 11, 3/10 of a second up from Jamamasya. Has Grant done the business? This is going to be one heck of a victory if we're going to hold the lead. Masya is 3/10 of a second. You know, that lead's going to just disappear a little bit as we go into the gas. But going full power now, going across the line in a moment's time. Grant's done it. The Husqvarna has won again. Brilliant result here in Phillip Island. What a finish, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe we fought back from that deficit and took the victory in style here in Phillip Island. Jamamasya and Darren Binder finish on the podium with 2nd and 3rd. Now a look at the championship. That has done wonders for Grant, getting 9 extra points, puts Darren Binder 12 points behind. You got to believe now that Gabriel Rodrigo is out of the championship contention, and it's only down to Grant and Darren Binder. Now a look at the team championship. The Petronas Sprinter Racing team still leading just by 7 points though. That lead has been depreciating over these last couple of Grand Prix. Surely they can't lose it though, because they've held that spot pretty much all the way through. Surely they're going to get the job done here. But we now have a bigger story, because it's celebration time for the Husqvarna man rocking the Wayne Gardner / DrAce helmet. That must have been the business. That must have been the reason why we were able to get job done here today. But I am so pleased with that victory. That's been one of the best ones of the season. It really is, especially considering how important and how critical it is for the championship. But guys, upon that note, thanks for watching as always. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload. And upon that note guys, thanks for watching and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.